Ajahn was born quite suddenly after an emergency cesarean, and when he came out he was pretty much flatlining. And then when they brought him round, he had had a massive brain hemorrhage and has ultimately resulted in lots and lots of medical concerns, which currently we're in a position where he is diagnosed as being sort of life-limiting. The day he was born, we were told that he wouldn't survive. The day we brought him home after 6 months, we were told that we'd be taking him in for end-of-life care. He's 14 now, and we are still in that position, and a lot of his care is largely palliative.
Is that funny? Is that making...
Ajahn was one of the youngest children to start at Springwater. He started when he was 2.5. He has got an amazing relationship with the staff here. They care for him, they absolutely adore him, and he feels that every day, and I know he does because he's happy here. The one thing he does do, as you can see, he does have a tendency to sort of self-harm, which is one of his sort of sensory elements, because there is no sight and there is no language. So this sort of hitting motion, especially when he hits his head, is very much about a sensory reaction that he's getting from that. He has 2 little sisters as well, who are 10 and 8, and the impact that it has on them as his, you know, they look up to him, they adore him, but they know that their brother will die. So it's hard. You're constantly grieving for something that you thought you were going to have. And I cannot even begin to explain what a lifesaver Springwater School has been for us as a family.
We cater for youngsters that can come as early as the age of 2 through to 19-year-olds, which means that we've got primary, secondary and a 6th form. Many of our students have severe learning difficulties or profound and multiple learning difficulties, but we have a lot of youngsters with more moderate learning difficulties where we offer a very different curriculum.
We have pupils with physiotherapy programs that we conduct on a daily basis. We have something called the MOVE program, which is also, it stands for Movement Opportunities via Education, so it's things like teaching them how to sit or to stand or to walk.
My son James has special needs. He's on the autistic spectrum and he has a semantic pragmatic language disorder. And back in 2001 I moved my whole family to North Yorkshire so that James could actually access Springwater. And the minute I walked through the doors I felt safe. It was like walking into a family. As the years went by, I very much wanted to be part of Springwater, and I knew the only way to do that was to become a parent governor and be part of the decision-making process of the school. Because for me, the people were perfect. The building is not fit for purpose. We really need to look at the needs of the school. When I see the desperate state of for example, the sensory room here, it breaks my heart. Outside of home, hospital and this school, it's all they'll know. In mainstream education, your child has an exercise book to write in. For me, it's an equivalent. The sensory room for me is like an exercise book for a child in mainstream school. It should just be there, and it isn't.
The facilities here are, I would call, tired. The facilities here are just about doing the job for our children. And I think the staff work so hard to work with the limited resources that they have. But I think it's time to give our children something more. It's time to give them something that they really do deserve, and they do deserve better. They deserve to have the most modern pieces of equipment which are going to allow them to achieve to their fullest potential. For example, here Ajahn loves rebound therapy, which is in essence a trampoline, but it's more than that. It's not just a trampoline. It's how it engages our children. And the trampoline itself in school takes up a lot of space. It has to be put up by 5-6 members of staff. It has to be taken back down again by 5-6 members of staff. And it takes up a great deal of space in the hall here, so that means other children don't have access to the hall for their education and their learning.
One of the major limitations of our school is the space, the environment. So as I said, we have students with up to 4 pieces of equipment. My classroom's not very big, I have nowhere currently to store it, and a couple of those students are coming up from primary, and primary are currently having to use our library area to store all their wheelchairs, their standers, their various pieces of equipment, which means our library is not then functional. Our playground is very limited. We need certainly more for our sensory pupils. We need some more shade, which is something quite basic, but we don't have a lot of shade, so in the summertime pupils may have to stay inside.
To have a sensory facility just readily available would be absolutely amazing. Setting up the equipment just to do an activity like I am doing with Olivia here, it just takes such a long time.
This is an opportunity that we've been crying out for. We need to upgrade our facility. Our facility lags behind many other schools.
Every school out there does extra fundraising over and above, but the parents here are unable to do that. Often the children travel large distances to access the school. They also need to be transported in specialist vehicles, and you certainly can't go asking them for support in terms of baking and all the other things that frankly you just take for granted in mainstream education. This is a golden opportunity for Springwater to actually get what it desperately has needed for so long now. This is what we need, and we need people to actually look into their hearts and say, can we help? I don't know what parents would do without Springwater actually. I dread to think. It isn't what you sign up for when you have a child. All you want is to give them the very best opportunity, and it breaks me to think that some of the children coming here are managing with such meagre facilities really, and if we could change that for good and give them what they need, it'd be wonderful.
Our children, some of them may not outlive us. Adjan isn't likely to outlive his lifespan at Springwater School. So I want him to have the best life experience that he can possibly have whilst he's here. And alongside that, to hopefully leave some kind of legacy for the other children that may come through.